If you have a list that you want to be able to offset in no particular order, you can use bullets, or if there is an order, or you want to show how many are within the list, you can use numbers. So for example, I've got a list of things here that are important when it comes to our website that are in no particular order. So I offset it with an object or an image or a shape called bullets, just off to the left-hand side to say, okay, here's a point, here's a point, here's a point, that when you come to our website, we've got Office 2013 training videos, sample previews, and user testimonials. Now, if it is important in a hierarchical structure, I can use numbers, convert the bullets here, these points, into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the one that's number 1 is number 1. And then you can use it for that example, or if you just want to show how many you have within your list, numbering your list, and it's in no particular hierarchical structure, then you don't have to focus on number 1 being number 1, just on how many. And this is easy to count. We've got 3. As opposed to a long list, and we want to go, okay, how many items are within the list? Just go right to the last one, and it will be sorted numerically, 1 up at the top down to 3 right here. So to be able to convert your text into object shapes or images for your bullets, or into a numbering system, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, first of all, you need to have some text, and let's leave this alone here because that's already been converted. I can deconvert it, but in any case, let's just go to slide 4. You have to have paragraphs. Now, if you didn't watch the previous training video on paragraphs, this isn't probably going to make much sense because you have to understand the difference between what you see as a paragraph and what Word sees as a paragraph. And like I said, we set this up that the lines you see here represents one paragraph because at the end I hit the Enter key. Nowhere else did I hit the Enter key. So if I want to convert this into a bulleted list along with the text down below, then I want to select all of it, both paragraphs, and come up here on the Home tab to the paragraph group, and you get your bullets and you get your numbers, or creating a number list. So if I click on bullets, the defaults are these little squares here. Let me click off so you can see it. So you can see how it offsets it, does first line indent. In fact, when I click up here, you can see that I still have my ruler showing. So it's got, again, as we talked about in the previous training video, that it's doing an indent to allow spacing between the bulleted point and the first line. In fact, let's come up here, click on the View tab, and you can see here in the Show group, I checked the ruler to be able to see both the horizontal and the vertical ruler. And then, of course, I can mess with my first line indent and with the bullet. If I want to bring the bullet closer, click on that and drag it over, and it crushes it right next to it, which doesn't look pretty, so let's go ahead and undo that. So that's what you're seeing over here on slide 2. The conversion here, and if you want to undo it and no longer have the bullets being applied to this, then go ahead and let's go to the Home tab. Click and drag to select all 3 separate paragraphs or bulleted items in the list, and then come up here and deselect, and it gets rid of the bulleted points. Now you have more options when it comes to adding a bullet by clicking on its corresponding drop-down arrow. I don't know if you can see it, but it's pretty faded the color. So we have our filled squares, we have our arrows, and you can see over here when I hover over it, it adds a preview to it. We've got checkboxes, or you can get more options by clicking on bullets and numbering. And you can choose a picture. Click on that. You can search from the file on your computer or search on the web. Let's do browse. And I don't have any pictures in my pictures. We have sample pictures. We have the chrysanthemum. Hey, you can see little chrysanthemums. Isn't that pretty? Let's go ahead and hit undo. And undo that again. And then we can come back up here and see what other options are available. You can have the bullets resized to the percentage of the text, so you can make them a lot tinier, 50%, and then change the color so it's something that pops more, and then click OK. You can see the bullets are a lot tinier than what they used to be. So you can do some customization there. Now if you want a hierarchical structure, a numbered format, so you can say, well, number 1 is the most important, or you just want them numbered completely, so you can say, okay, the last one tells me it is a 3, so that says we have a total of 3 within our list. Okay, it doesn't make sense here because I don't have 50,000 items here. If I did, and you're like, how many items? Good grief, I don't want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just look at the end and you can see that there's a total with the number there, 50,000, that there's 50,000. So come up here with the paragraph selected, of course, and click on Numbers. There we go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let's go ahead and click on the drop-down arrow next to the numbers. You can customize it if you don't want to select any other options that they have here. Besides, the numbers are too tiny for me. So click on that. And let's do, well, maybe 100% of text. I don't know, thinking out loud here. Click OK. Or if you want, maybe you don't have some items here in the list and you don't want to start with one. So we can say our list starts with 3 until somebody can come up with something better for number 1, number 2. This isn't the thing that you're thinking is the most important, so you kind of bumped it down in the hierarchical structure, but hey, there you go, 3, 4, 5. And by the same token, if you want to rearrange your bullets, you can come over here and hover over one of the bullets, or the numbers that is, and click on it and drag it down below. So number 4 sample preview is now going to be below number 5, and sample preview is there, so it becomes number 5 now. So that's how you can rearrange them. Let's come back up here, click on the number drop down arrow, and then go to bullets and numbering, and we can go ahead and notice how it says start at 5. Why is that? Because I only have 5 selected. Remember, they're separate paragraphs, so if I want to affect all 3 bullets or 3 numbered items, then I need to select all 3 of them. So let's go ahead and select these, give it a right click, so you can see in the shortcut menu if you don't want to go all the way to the top on the Home tab, because maybe you're on a different tab, you don't want to have to go over and click on the Home tab to access the paragraph group, then you can come over here and make your changes here as well. We can do boxes. Now the next thing I want to show you really quickly is that if you have a bullet and you want the one below that to be a sub point to what could be the main point here, then just click after that bullet, hit the tab key on the keyboard, and it converts it in the hierarchical structure, or it indents it. So you got your main point and then you have your sub point. Maybe it's a camping trip and one of the main points is lighting, and then down below you want to list those like solar lighting, also batteries, what type of batteries you need for the lighting, just sub points to the lighting main point here. Now if you want to outdent this because it's indented now and you're like, no, I want this to be the main point, you can do one of a couple of things. You can come up here on the Home tab to the paragraph group, and you've got these decrease level and increase. Let me hover over it. There you go, increase indent. So if you decrease it, it goes back and then it converts it to its default color here. Of course, we know how to change that by coming back up here and clicking on the drop down arrow, but we want to do it all together and not just for this one. That is, if we have additional formatting that we want to customize for all 3 items here. And then by the same token, you can come back up here and increase it again. Or with the cursor flashing there, you can use the shortcut keys, Shift Tab, outdents it, and then hitting the Tab key indents it. Now you don't want to do it outside of the bullet or not being next to the bullet, your cursor that is, because when you hit the Tab key, it does what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to tab over about 5 spaces here. So let me do Control Z to undo that, and Control Z again. You want to be next, well, let me click so my cursor is flashing next to the bullet if you're going to use those shortcut keys. Now I go over the bullets and numbered lists in greater detail. In fact, there's actually an outline view in Word 2013, so if you want to learn more about this, and like I said, in greater detail, then watch my Word 2013 training videos on bullets and numbering and outline.